It's the Matt Sager Podcast, Friday, December 21st. Hope your week was great. Hope it was certainly better than mine. This is day 2 out from getting under my sinus infection, and I'm just about better, but as you can hear, I'm not quite 100% yet. Figure by the weekend I should be good to go, which is good because I've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of pre-Christmas sort of events, doing some last-minute shopping, seeing some friends who are in town, and as my usual, spending some time at the gym. How about you? What's going on with you this weekend? Get in touch with me. Let me know. And also, I remind you, I'm soliciting both categories and entries for my top 10s and bottom 10 lists. And I may not even stick to the 10-item list format. Like, for instance, streaming services. I don't know that there are 10 from which to choose from, but I may do a top 3. I may have an entry for the worst. Fox Nation, wow, you suck. And certainly the best, which is quite difficult. I've now sampled DC Universe, which is a mixed bag, but is better than I had thought. Better than it was even a couple weeks ago. But really the challengers are going to be Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Hulu. Those are the giant streaming services. And from within that, you know, some of them have offerings like a la carte HBO, stuff like that. But they also have original content. And without giving too much away, the platform that has BoJack Horseman is likely to get my vote for top streaming service. But again, I am soliciting both categories, top streaming service, top book, top news story, and similarly, worst streaming service, most depressing news story, worst film, worst book, etc. So for all that, get in touch with me via email, matt@mattsager.com, or call and leave me a voicemail at 646-535-4788, or hit me up via social media. I'll give out all that info at the end of tonight's podcast. Once again, I apologize not only for my voice, which obviously is a little bit nasal compared to how it usually is, but also for what has been a very abbreviated week of Matt Sager podcast episodes, including 2 repeats and 2 new episodes, and one night in which I just, as we say in the industry, went dark, because I was recovering from a terrible sinus infection that hit me out of the blue last Friday. So thank you for your patience with me. And in coming back yesterday, there was just a deluge of email that had piled up during the week. Emails and tweets and Facebook messages asking me to comment on the new Hellboy trailer. As a massive Hellboy fan, not only of the fantastic long-running Dark Horse series and its ancillary titles like BPRD, but also the original Hellboy movie and Hellboy 2 from Guillermo del Toro, starring Ron Perlman and Selma Blair. Now that trio, Del Toro, the incredible Selma Blair, and the just stellar, such an amazing actor who was born to play the role. Ron Perlman, he was born to play Hellboy. So that they're rebooting it without him is odd. Frankly, that they're doing a reboot at all. You know, I get that there's constant turnover, that none of these things can exist in a vacuum. Sometimes you've got to put out a movie if it's based on something like a comic, or else you run the risk of losing the rights to it. That is the story behind, for instance, the infamous Fantastic Four movie from 1994. It wasn't that Marvel thought, hey, let's do something really smart. Let's take the $400 we have, that is basically all we own right now, give it to Roger Corman, and make a Fantastic Four movie. It's going to be a huge hit. That had nothing to do with it. What the problem was that, I think it was New Line, whoever they were doing films with at the time, they ran the risk of losing the option rights to Fantastic Four if they didn't put something in the can that they could call at least an attempt at making a movie out of it. So really, sometimes it can be as simple as that. And that might be the case here, although I don't mean to demean. You know, look, this is a very good new director and a very good new star. It's not the same. It couldn't be. And it's impossible to me that Lionsgate Film, Dark Horse Comics, the creative team of Hellboy and BPRD, that they couldn't see that this was lightning in a bottle. And these actors are still there and available, as presumably is Del Toro. But instead, this new film is going to star David Harbour, who we know from Stranger Things, who's a great actor, really good on Stranger Things. And it's going to be directed by Neil Marshall. Marshall directed The Descent, which is a really, really good horror movie. He's also done a lot of episodes of Game of Thrones. He's directed, that I know of, The Watchers on the Wall and Blackwater, 2 very, very good episodes. Now, having said that, in order to answer your question about what do I think of the trailer, I watched it and I'm not enthused. David Harbour is, again, a great actor. Coming in and replacing Ron Perlman is quite a challenge, and it seems as though he's not trying. They're going in a different direction, and there's something admirable about that, but it just rings all kinds of wrong to me. It also stars Ian McShane and Mila Jovovich, who, again, she's stepping into some very big shoes. This is not a slight on her, but she's stepping in for Selma Blair, for that chemistry that Blair had with Perlman. So let's take a look at the trailer and see what we think. From the soundtrack, to the actors, to the scenery on.
Oi, I need some ID, love.
Are you serious?
They warned us that something was coming.
I don't love the song. That's Billy Idol's take on Moni Moni. But let's see where this is going.
They warned us that something was coming.
If there is ever an end in this forever war, it will be because of you.
Heavy use of CGI. We're 17 seconds in, and there is so much CGI, it is dizzying.
And your strong right hand. I'm on your side!
Okay, so comparing this version of Hellboy to Ron Perlman's version, this has been many years down the line now. The amount of technology, the affordability of this technology to make somebody look like a big red demon monster superhero guy has only increased, and yet David Harbour looks silly. He looks like they're trying to go for a Guardians of the Galaxy type of look and failing because it's not the same kind of source material. He looks like a goofy, comical demon, and as you'll see or hear as the trailer plays out, he acts like he's like, oh, how did I become a demon? How did I become a monster? I'm just some guy, right? Which does not jive with any version of the Hellboy story, so it's going to be interesting. And I'm sorry to have this sour attitude. I really had an open mind, and I still do, but this trailer does not sell me. I'd be very interested to know if it sells you. I'll attach a link to it in the description for tonight's podcast episode. Let's continue.
Sorry, my bad.
We're the line in the sand. We fight against the forces of darkness. This is it.
We're expecting a sign that says secret headquarters.
So David Harbour appears to be playing Hellboy as a drunk. He's like, oh, I'm on your side. Oh, so this is it? It's not shaping up to be particularly impressive to me. But let's see.
Oi, I need some ID, love.
Are you serious? You made me a damn weapon. I just wanted to help you become the best you.
So that's Professor Broomhold, I think his name is pronounced. The idea that you could take a demon from hell and he could be angry at you for using him as a weapon is an odd one. Hellboy was adopted. They ported him in during World War II. There was never a time when he wasn't a demon from hell. He just happened to be a cute, fun, easy to work with demon from hell who fought on the side of the good guys. This idea of an existentially conflicted, oh, you made me a demon. No, you're a demon. We made you a cop. We made you a good guy. What is the, I don't get where this tension is coming from. This is odd. This, oh, I just want to be a peaceful guy. No, you're a dark lord of the underworld, sir. I think you're confused.
Some dads get their kids Legos.
Haven't we got to be saving the world or something?
Does it do anything special?
Yeah.
It's talking about his big, impressive demon hand, of course.
It smashes things real good.
So he sounds drunk, just all the time.
You are mankind's best and only hope.
I thought we were supposed to be fighting monsters, not working with them.
Who you calling monster, pal? You look in the mirror recently?
He's an asshole.
Sorry. I interrupt.
On the contrary, you've arrived just in time.
By the way, Daniel Dai Kim, who you might know from Angel or any number, he works on TV constantly. But he looks spectacular as a member of the BPRD, whose name I think is Ben Daimio. And it looks like, look, it's going to be a fun movie. I don't think that there's such a thing as a bad, unenjoyable Hellboy movie, not to the best of my knowledge. There was Hellboy, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, a couple of animated movies. They're all great. The source material is just ridiculous. As long as the creative team behind the comics, as long as they're on board, this is going to be a fun movie. What is unfortunate is that we're, I guess, close to 14 years out from the original Hellboy, and it doesn't look like it's going to be better. It looks like it's going to be a step down. That, of course, was pretty much inevitable once Del Toro stepped away from the project or was removed. I don't really know how it went down. But on Wednesday, December 19th, when this all dropped, they released this trailer and some promotional footage for the new Hellboy, which is premiering April of 2019. Ron Perlman and Selma Blair both took to social media. Perlman, of course, played the titular Hellboy, and Selma Blair did a remarkable job playing Liz Sherman. So she posted a really nice photo, really charming, of her and Ron Perlman, who's wearing his makeup and prosthetics and decked out like Hellboy. It's a very cute picture. She put this on her Instagram account, saying, "This man, at Perlmutations," that's his Instagram, "forever my red. You are always the realest deal, a diamond. Hashtag Guillermo del Toro, hashtag Ron Perlman, hashtag Doug Jones, hashtag Selma Blair, hashtag BPRD." And Perlman put something up on his Instagram account that day, a little screen grab and clip from Hellboy, the original version, on Netflix. A little reminder that the original is still available to stream on Netflix, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. Whether you're looking for something to compare this new Hellboy to, or just if you haven't seen this movie, my God, it is one of the best, one of the first real super comic book films, way before Marvel had their act together with Iron Man, etc. Guillermo del Toro was out there showing people how it's done, with the help of really amazing performers like Perlman and Blair. Those two are just irreplaceable, and neither one has aged so much. 14 years is 14 years. Actors can sort of be frozen like flies in amber. Those two look exactly the same. And as I said, technology, affordability is said technology to make a cool CGI-based sci-fi comic book movie has only gotten so much better, in large part due to pioneering efforts. Bold new takes on the genre like Hellboy and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. So it is odd, no offense at all, to Neil Marshall, Milla Jovovich, Ian McShane, Daniel Dae Kim, Sasha Lane, or David Harbour. They're all great actors. But this trailer looks like a major step down for me from Hellboy, Hellboy 2, and the Hellboy animated movies. It is odd to me. I get the idea of keeping your properties moving, always having something going. But in the act of doing that, I would think you'd want to preserve, if not increase, its production value, the chemistry of your stars and co-stars, the general tone and story integrity. A sort of cohesive line between, all right, we're rebooting it, and maybe we're even scrapping the stars and director, as amazing as they were. As irreplaceable, as lightning in a bottle as that formula was, we're going to replace it. I don't know why they're changing the tone this much. David Harbour is an actor with great range. I believe that to be true of Dae Kim. I don't know his work very well. He's such a bit player that I don't know his range. From what I've seen, it is quite broad, and he's quite talented. Milla Jovovich is always getting typecast, and this might be her chance to break out and really show us what she's got. Based on this trailer, again, it doesn't look that way to me. And David Harbour looks like he's kind of playing it up like for laughs, kind of being cartoony about it. And does Hellboy have that element to him? Is there a lighter side of the BPRD universe? Absolutely. But this does not look good. Obviously, I'm going to see it. I'm going to see Aquaman this weekend. And the ratings on that, quite differently from when I first commented on people's first impressions that they were tweeting out about it a week or two ago when it was still under review embargo. I was saying, wow, oh my God, Aquaman is going to be the most amazing thing ever. And Aquaman has a great looking trailer. But I've been hearing from people who have seen it, both reviewers and friends of mine, and I'm hearing that it's a mixed bag. It's a big step forward for Aquaman, who, Lord knows up till now, has literally been a joke. There was an entire running gag on Entourage about, what if Turtle became Aquaman? Get it? Because Aquaman's such a dumb idea to ever make a superhero movie about. We've come a long way since then. But what looked like it was going to be 100% Rotten Tomatoes rating is more like a 70% at this point. And some people dislike it quite a lot. I'm reserving my own comments until I see it. I think any DC Extended Universe project that is out from under the specter of Zack Snyder and the just debacle that was the DC Universe under him, from Man of Steel to the dizzying lows of Batman v Superman to the even lower lows of Suicide Squad to the, it's passable if you can ignore the bizarre mouth on Henry Cavill, Justice League. Anything DC does from this point on is going to be an improvement. Hellboy is starting with a pedigree that's quite good. It's very fondly remembered, has a stellar cast, all of whom are still alive and performing, a director who is now legendary. And so anything different than that would be a disappointment. And perhaps like Aquaman, they're experimenting. They're leaning into, hey, what if instead of being a demon who was embracing his humanity, he plays himself off like a person who doesn't understand why he's a demon, and he's confused and apparently drunk most of the time. That is the impression I'm getting from the trailer. Some of my friends have also remarked about the soundtrack. Many of them have said, oh no, it's perfect for the mood. And so I just may not be getting what they're trying to sell. I may just not be understanding this. Because to me, I hear Billy Idol's, I think, 87 cover of Moni Moni, and all I can think of is like Andrew Dice Clay, like the lowest of the low pop culture of the 80s. Billy Idol just butchering the classic from Tommy James and the Shondells. But to be clear, I'm withholding judgment. Just because I really enjoyed the original does not mean I'm going to sour myself on the idea of a reboot. I was excited about it ever since I've heard of it. And again, David Harbour is a spectacular actor. Neil Marshall, I don't have to tell you he's a great director. He's proven himself again and again in multiple genres. But you would think a big launch trailer for an upcoming film, they'd want to really knock your socks off. And so far, I am not convinced. But I remain hopeful and optimistic. So I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Please do get in touch with me. As I said, I'm putting together my top 10 and bottom 10, or possibly top 3, bottom 3, top 5, bottom 5. You get it. My lists for 2018. I'd like both suggestions for categories and entries within those categories. So email matt@mattsager.com or call 646-535-4788. You can also get me on Twitter. I'm @MattSager. On Instagram, I'm Real Matt Sager, and on Facebook, I'm The Matt Sager. Also got my voiceover page there. It's Matt Sager VO, and this podcast page is Matt Sager Podcast. Also, check out the links in the description for tonight's podcast episode. Please do check out my merch store from my good friends at wehavemerch.com. You can get Matt Sager Podcast t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and more. And also, please do look at my Patreon, patreon.com/Matt Sager. And as for the rest, I've got more social media links, voiceover reels, contact information, blog posts, articles, and much more. You can find all that at mattsagervoiceover.com. Have a great weekend.